Wallace finds top shelf back corner. Carlow is going to take the 4-1.
And we begin the Carlow University track and field season preview here on the Carlow Sports Network. I'm Sean Meyers, joined by the head coach of the Celtics men's and women's track and field team, Tony Anderson. Coach, thank you for taking the time to do this.
Anytime.
So it's a little confusing when you look at the schedule for track and field because there's an indoor season over the winter, and now we're going to be focusing on the outdoor season. But take me through the transition as you're finishing up the indoor, how you get ready for the outdoor season.
Getting ready for the outdoor season is... the training is a little different. We're able to get out on the track more, so we do a lot more running. During the indoor season, we work more on strength and conditioning, getting into shape, and just getting stronger.
It's just the third year for this program here for track and field at Carlow. What are the keys to continue trending in the right direction?
Number one is recruiting. We have to get enough recruits in here to have a substantial team. And number two is keeping a positive attitude. When I first got here, the morale of the team was a little low, and that affects the way that you compete. So building a culture here of positivity is what we're trying to do.
When you mentioned you first got here, sort of a unique time when you came here. You came just over a year ago, sort of in the middle of the indoor and outdoor transition. How have you changed your coaching style? What have you learned in your year plus here at Carlow?
I learned that I'm used to coaching high school kids. College kids are not much different. I did expect a little bit more out of them confidence-wise, but the biggest thing that I've learned is you have to adapt to each individual athlete. You can't coach them all the same way.
You talked about coaching high schoolers about a decade ago, maybe not quite that long, but you coached Michael McLaughlin, who is now the associate head coach, and he really deals with the distance runners. What contributions has he made to this team?
He's made a great contribution to the team. I am the head coach for cross country as well, but I don't know a lot about distance. So bringing him in was a big asset. He's not only competed during the distance runs, but he's also had great coaching over the years that he's been able to learn from.
We mentioned it's a long season because it's really two different seasons. So take me through the typical training regimen that you have your athletes do during the season as well as in the off season.
In the off season, we do a lot of lifting and a lot of conditioning, just trying to get in general shape. During the indoor season, we still continue to lift. We start working on some speed and start working more technique for each individual event. During the outdoor season, we continue with the technique and work a lot more speed because we're able to run a lot more since we're able to get outside with the weather.
For the indoor season, the women's team here at Carlow did pretty well in the River States Conference, finishing 4th. How did you evaluate their performance?
I was very pleased with their performance. We could have done better if we had more athletes. Everyone that we do currently have contributed a lot into that success. The more athletes we get, the bigger the team grows. I'm looking to win a conference championship here soon.
Well, someone who's continued to perform at a high level has been Olivia Miller. She was named the River States Conference Field Athlete of the Year for the indoor session. What are her best qualities?
Tenacity. She's very tough, a little bit hard-headed at times. She likes to run through injuries, which we have to back off at that time, but she wants to compete. She has a great heart, and I love working with her.
Aside from Olivia, who's obviously had a great run here, who are some of the other key contributors who return on the women's side?
That would be Larissa, Caitlin, Sydney, Jordan, and probably the last one would be Shannon.
You mentioned you want to get more athletes. You continue to pound the pavement in terms of recruiting. Are there any significant newcomers to the women's team?
So far, I have 4 people that have already committed. 3 of them are sprinters, and one is a sprinter jumper, and then one is a high jumper. I'm looking to continue to grow with getting as many recruits as possible. So you're right, I'm pounding the pavement trying to find those recruits.
Heading into the outdoor session, what's the outlook that you have for this women's team and for the rest of River State's conference?
We're going to continue to improve. We're continuing to get better. We're continuing to learn how to compete better. As far as I'm concerned, the sky's the limit for the athletes that we currently have. We just need to add more athletes to that.
Let's shift focus to the men's team. They finished 8th in the River State's conference for the indoor competition. What are the expectations, and where do you need to continue to make improvements?
The expectations are always high. The athletes that we do currently have are participating at a high level. We just don't have enough men's athletes at this time. So the biggest thing for the men is recruiting as well. We just have to get more people in here.
We know that Javondii Meyers is one of the standouts on the men's team. Who are some of the notable athletes in addition to him who returned?
That would be Evan and Tyre. Tyre is a freshman sprinter who has done very well for us so far.
Well, you mentioned a newcomer. How hard is it to make that transition from high school to college competition for these first-year competitors?
A lot of times it is hard because the training is totally different. In high school, you don't have, I shouldn't say as good of coaches, but coaches that don't put enough time into practice because they have meets generally twice or 3 times a week, where we only have a meet once every week. So we do a lot more training.
Did you set any goals or any objectives for the men's team this season?
The only goals that I have is for each of the athletes to go and compete at the best of their abilities. We just need to give them some help and get some more athletes in here.
We mentioned at the onset, year number 2 for you guiding this track and field program here at Carlow University. What's your favorite aspect of coaching the Celtics?
Favorite aspect would probably be the fact that I'm able to come in and build a program the way that I would like to have it. Being that it is a new program, I can come in and build the type of culture and positivity that I would like to have.
Well, I appreciate the time, and hopefully you can keep that positivity throughout the spring session. That is Tony Anderson, head coach for the Carlow men's and women's track and field team.
Thank you for having me.
We continue the season preview here for the men's and women's track and field team for Carlow University. I'm now joined by a senior, Javondii Meyers. Thank you for taking the time to do this.
Thank you.
So you've had a lot of success recently. You captured gold in the high jump at the River State's conference meet. What was that feeling like?
Well, it was very exciting because, all that hard work I've been putting in at practice is now starting to see the rewards from it. So it's very amazing I made it that far.
You mentioned you put the time in practice, but that's not your only event, right? You do the high jump, you do the long jump, you've also done the triple jump. What are the differences? How do you prepare for each specifically?
Well, high jump is my main. That's the one I have the fun with the most. So when I prepare for that, I usually just more on vertical jumping because I have to jump over the bar. But for long and triple, it's more outward. So I practice more jumps going outward instead of going up. That's how I mentally prepare for it.
I'm very envious because I wish I could jump anywhere close to you. So give me some advice here. When you do the workouts, how do you focus on increasing your vertical, increasing your jumping ability overall?
Well, mostly I do mainly squats, lifting, lower the body lifting, and then I would do some plyometric boxes, jump on top of the boxes, and increase it every week so I can jump higher.
Is there a particular number you aim for?
What, height?
Yes.
No, I just usually just keep going until I can't go
just
anymore.
Keep stacking until you run out of boxes. You're a senior. Do you take on a leadership role with this team?
Yes, I'm the leading men's jumper captain, I guess. So I just push the guys that's underneath me, under my wing. Keep going, work hard, do whatever I can to help them.
A leadership role, is that something that has come naturally, or did you kind of have to work at developing?
Well, when I first came here, I was a little shy. I didn't really talk much, and I guess eventually I just had to become more open and social towards the team and help lead them. When I would start doing good, I would give them advice, stuff like that.
Do you have a favorite place to compete?
Not necessarily, because the high jump usually is kind of the same, but some places have better mats, and it just depends where I'm at, I guess.
What individual and what team goals have you set for the upcoming season?
Individual, I would like to get 6'10" for high jump. That's my main. Get back to that height again. And for the team, honestly, I just want us to work hard because it's not many of us on the team. So I just want us to like compete. Go out there and try to go after the other teams.
It's still a very young program for
Yeah.
Carlow Track and Field. How has this team and the program overall grown in the past 3 years?
I just feel like we're building like a family atmosphere towards each other. Like whenever we're at practice, we're always cheering each other on. We see someone like we might be running on the hill or something, you just cheer for each other. You can't continue. You just cheer them on. Help fight towards the goal.
Let's go back, rewind a few years. What led to your decision to come to Carlow University?
It was mainly because of perfusion major, because there's not many around my area. So I saw Carlow, and I saw they was making a track team too. So I was like, that's my two out right there, goals right there. I wanted to do.
I'm sure there's been a drastic difference from South Carolina to Western Pennsylvania. However, talk about that and how you've been able to adjust in that regard.
Mainly, it's the cold, man. It's tough. The cold. It took me like a good 2 years just to get used to it, but now I'm starting to like become more adapt to it. I'm learning to wear more jackets because back in the South you can wear like short sleeves and be fine, but now I had to learn my lesson first year.
First couple weeks of the outdoor session is a little rough for you still?
Man, yes. I still haven't completely adapted to it, but it's tough. But I know how to like prepare for like warm up earlier and stuff like that to help me tackle the cold.
And lastly, I know that you start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You're getting near the end of your career. Do you reflect on that at all at this point, or do you still fully focus until you're completely done?
I'm fully focused till I'm done. I have to keep going. Like Coach said, you always got to keep going no matter what. You think you're done, you still got to fight. It's always something you can work on.
Well, we appreciate the time. Hope you have a great outdoor session upcoming.
All right, thank you.
That's Javondii Meyers of the track and field team at Carlow University. And we continue the season preview for Carlow University's men's and women's track and field season. Sean Meyers joined by a junior for the Celtics, Olivia Miller. Thank you for taking the time to do this. You were recently named the River States Conference Indoor Field Athlete of the Year for the indoor session. I'm hoping you carry that over to the outdoor as well. But what did that award mean to you?
That award meant a lot to me. It was a huge honor just because I've put a lot of work into a lot of the field events, doing the pent this year and everything. So to get that award against a bunch of other people who I knew were just as worthy was a huge honor.
Do you have a particular event that is your favorite?
That's a tough one. Triple jump will probably always have my heart, but I actually really like high jump because I just started that last year and I really like the technique work and everything for that. So.
And you compete in the pentathlon.
I do.
How challenging is that?
The first couple times doing it, it was very challenging trying to figure out how to get your body ready for all those events in one day. But now I'm kind of settled into it. The only challenging part really is the 8 now.
In which areas have you grown the most as an athlete in your time here at Carlow?
I think my mentality in a lot of these events has changed a lot. I used to be a big head case. After I would do one event and not do as well as I wanted to, it would kind of be over for the rest of them. But I think my mentality has grown a lot in that regard.
What teammate or teammates do you think might have a breakout outdoor season?
I think Tyre Royster is very close. He's on the cusp of hitting nationals for the 2. I think he will have a really good outdoor season. And also Katie Melvin, she has been PRing. I think she PR'd in the last 3 or 4 meets in the mile. So I think they're both due for a breakout season.
What team goals, what individual goals did you set for the outdoor session?
For the outdoor session, like you kind of mentioned in the beginning, I'm hoping individually I can carry on and be field athlete again, hoping to make nationals again because the standards are a little bit different. But and team goals, I hope that we can up our points in the conference because we don't have as many people as everyone else, but just kind of dropping our times and improving our marks and everything. So.
Is there a particular meet you're most looking forward to, or maybe one that's been your favorite in the past?
Coach Tony actually talked about going to Bucknell this year, which I haven't been there, but I know there will be big competition there, and that's one of the places that I would do the heptathlon outdoors. for. So I'm really excited about that.
You talked about Tony Anderson. What are his best qualities?
He makes track and practice and every part of the sport just so fun. It's like he's not like your coach, your superior, he's like your friend, but he also is like super good at like encouraging you and giving you a better aspect or outlook on the sport whenever sometimes it may be hard.
You came from Ligonier Valley, so Western Pennsylvania. You stay in the general region. Did you have a lot of familiarity with Pittsburgh and with a lot of your teammates here?
Not with a lot of my teammates actually, but I was very familiar with Pittsburgh because a lot of my family goes here. So.
Lastly, what's your favorite aspect of being part of the track and field team here at Carlow?
My favorite aspect would probably be the camaraderie we've built. I think within the past couple of years, especially, like I said, with Tony making practice so fun and everything, there's a whole different environment that comes with track and field, and everyone who comes on the team is welcome in the same way, and I love that. So.
Well, we appreciate the time. Congratulations on being Athlete of the Year. Go win some more gold medals for the outdoor session.
Thank you.
That is Olivia Miller here on the season preview for the Celtics track and field.